Welcome back to JDM Legends, presented by Turn 14 Distribution. We're back at C17 Media, which can mean only one thing. It's time for the big color reveal. Without further delay, let's just show you the color. It is a 3M color that's called Gloss Blue Raspberry. Though I don't really see a lot of raspberry in it, I see lots of gloss blue, but it is a really nice, dark, rich blue. And it does sort of change in tone slightly depending on the way the light hits it. It's got some good metallic flake.
It is hard to see in here and on camera, I'll tell you that much right now.
I mean, it'll pop a lot more once we get the car out in the sun. So you'll have to wait for the true reveal at the end of this episode. This, of course, is Norm, who you met last episode, and this is Lloyd, who is the main installer here, I suppose. Can we call you that?
Yep, he's our head installer here.
And one of the questions that we had was how to deal with the roof. Since it's a seamless roof, all goes into like the rear quarters. I presume they don't make vinyl large enough to do that all in one piece, do they?
In this instance, no. Like you kind of commonly pointed out, usually there's roof rails to kind of, break up the body a little bit. In this instance, I mean, this panel is going to run from the whole rear quarter across both, so we can't really do that. So we kind of laid down some knifeless tape that will kind of do it in sections, kind of break the body panel by ourselves.
It's a clever idea. Lloyd was explaining to me earlier that, by doing it on this little step area in the roof, the way you lay the vinyl will kind of hide the seam when you're looking at the car from this side anyway.
Correct.
So your eye will pick it up as being one piece anyway.
Correct. And then if you notice, like we're going to do the roof first opposed to the sides, because another important point to point out is actually how you layer the vinyl, right? So for example, if you have vinyl that's kind of catching air, you want the edge to be tucked away,
right,
so it keeps the dirt and debris away. And in this instance, we're going to try to do that too. So the sides will kind of cover the middle, so that seam is kind of minimized, so it doesn't catch dirt and doesn't kind of lift on you.
Very cool. All right, well, let's let Lloyd do his thing here, and we'll just watch, and I'll ask questions over your shoulder once in a while. All right. Well, the hood is looking good.
Yeah, great.
It went down really nicely. The edges are perfect. You really got everything just spot on, and those cut out just like a castle at work there.
Yeah, should look like paint, right?
It does. It looks really good, and it's going to change the character so much. And it's impressive to see how workable the material is, like how easily you can lift it and stretch it. And
well, that's the great thing with the 3M. 3M is very conformable, so you can bend it and move it around.
And you were explaining to me too how when you squeegee it, it activates those little like adhesive
beads.
bubbles or beads.
Yeah.
So that actually helps it stick down.
Yeah.
Because when we initially put it down, it's not very sticky,
No,
is it?
it's slidable. You can slide it around.
It almost feels like static pressure is holding it down, and that's about it. But really impressive to see that all go down. I'm excited to see it finished, which means it's time for us to go away, let Lloyd finish the job here, and then we'll come back and show you this thing all in blue. All right, we're back at C17, and wow, the car is wrapped and it changes it a lot. It's super cool. I'm pretty pumped on this color. It's interesting seeing it outside because it's an overcast day, so we're not getting a lot of like the metallic flake coming out of it. I don't know how it's gonna look on video, but in person, it looks,
dude, it looks cool, man. It looks cool. I'm like pumped to put it back together. I think it's gonna look really neat.
For sure.
But right now, you know, it's incomplete.
Yeah, it still looks kind of like half a car, and it looks a lot more purple in this light, doesn't it, Pete? It's you can see a lot more of like that raspberry in this color than we could in the shop or out in the sunlight last time we were here. So I'm stoked to get this on the trailer, back to the shop, get the bumper on there, get the headlights on it, basically make it a complete car again, and then do what is a proper reveal for you guys. Well, it's the next day, we're back in the shop here, and as you can see, the car looks surprisingly different under our lights here. Do you remember the color temperature of these lights, Pete? Are they like...
It's around like 5,500 Kelvin.
Oh, okay. And it looks way deeper, way bluer here than it did outside at C17, or even inside. This looks quite different. A lot of the like purple undertones are gone. It looks much more blue, but it's got like a little more, I don't know, almost like a chrome thing coming through under these lights. It's really interesting to see how it changes. But in any case, it's time to get this thing back into one piece, getting it looking more like a complete car. So let's just get back to work here. Well, it's starting to look more like a car again, isn't it? It's nice to see it with the mirrors on and the wing on, the rear bumper on, and as you would have seen, we did use some of Sonax's plastic restorer gel on all the black plastic trim, which really cleans it up, really helps put it back into like a more of its original condition. It gives it some blackness again, some color again. So that I think is quite helpful. You can see we put in these new clear side marker lights.
Yeah, because the orange would have looked so bad, so I think that's the right call.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I just cleaned this up. I've washed it and scuffed it with some Scotch-Brite pad, and now we're gonna paint it. We thought about maybe using the plastic restorer gel, but I think paint will give it a more convincing look, because getting all the gel into these grooves and then having, I don't know how long it'll last in this kind of an area either with, you know, washing windscreens and all the rest of it. So we figured, let's just paint it.
While the front cowl waits and dries, you can see this is what I used on it, which is the SEM trim black. This is actually like a super close match to the original black color. So if you've got any type of plastic to paint, this is the way to go. So that's kind of gonna sit out there for a bit, let it dry. And right now we are going to turn our attention to the headlights. If you guys remember, I did polish the outside of these. These were super hazed over in a yellow color. They cleaned up nicely from the outside, but you guys can see there's this haze on the inside. And really the only way to attack that is to take this lens off and then clean it. But what I did is I tasked Jesse Streeter. If you guys know who Jesse is, then you'll know he is an importer and exporter of JDM goods, and he is the man. So I actually got him to purchase these off of Yahoo Japan for me. These are, I think they're called Y Square aftermarket brand new lenses. However, these are for the S2 headlights, not the S1 headlights. So you can see the pattern on them is a little bit different. That being said, they might look very cool on there, or we might go back to these and just clean them up. Before I can heat the butyl, what I actually need to do is remove these clips. You can see right here that hold the lens onto the headlight, and man, they come off quite easily. Some people tend to bake their headlights in an oven. I like the heat gun method. It's a little bit more concentrated and you don't need to have an oven kicking around. It'll probably take me like around 5 minutes or so, maybe less, to heat this up because it's such a hot day. It is coming apart.
Oh, wow.
There it goes. Woo-wee. Would you look at that? I didn't expect, I thought this lens was coming off without the plastic, but damn it, I just noticed this is screwed onto here. So yeah, this is gonna be a bit of a curveball, but I'm sure we can get this out as well. So I just pulled that screw out and it does in fact look like that is the only thing that holds this in place. So now I gotta be very careful with this because I do not want to break this. We do have to reuse this. So I've got some alcohol on a microfiber towel now, and let's see if that cleans it up. Wow, yeah, it's insane how dirty it was in there. I don't know, can you guys see this at all? Probably not, but I could see the, yeah, you probably can't see it, but the cloudiness in this area I just wiped here has certainly gone away. This lens is not perfect. I think it could still probably use a cut and polish to make it even better, but it certainly does clean it up really well from the inside. So these are certainly reusable if we need to reuse them, but let's put the new one on and see how that looks like, because ideally that's what we want to use.
Look at PT with the white gloves on, like he's assessing the value of an antique at Sotheby's or something. So fancy.
Trying to be very careful. These are new lenses. You never want to scratch them.
This is the problem with these cars. They've become so valuable. You have to work on them with white gloves.
I know, DP. Not great, but on the bright side, let's have a look at what this now looks like. Ooh, dude. Man, that's looking mighty fine. Let's just kind of put that there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's show you guys what that looks like.
That is the new
I think
news
that
right
is
there.
gonna look a baller. That is so good. So the other option to consider when doing this is most people will just upgrade to the S2 lights. They're like, they used to be $1,000, now they're like $1,300 new, but you can still buy them. So, and you get the black housing, which is really cool. But you know what, like looking at this one, I think this is still gonna look really neat on this car. We wanted to keep a little bit of the chrome, and you'll soon find out why. But look at the comparison between that and that. Like
night and day.
Oh, it's so good. So thank you again to Streeter Corp, Jesse, for sourcing these. So once again, like if you're in the market for some cool JDM stuff, hit him up because Jesse's the guy. I'll put a link in the description to get you the hard to get stuff. So the Y-square headlight lenses do come with some new butyl, and you know, there's some left in here as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna actually stretch this out really thin so we get a little bit of the new stuff in there, but we still retain some of the old stuff, so it's not like too much in there. And that way, I think it'll ensure a proper seal where you're not gonna get any moisture into these lenses and screw them up right away. Now that I've got that new butyl in there, I'm gonna heat this up for whatever, 2-3 minutes until it's nice and soft, and then we'll stick that other one in there. So it is time to put this lens back in here. These aftermarket lenses are phenomenal because, wow, everything like fit up just as it should with the OEM ones. Like all the clips are in place, it fit up perfect, and I mean, man, that looks so good. Again, like look at the difference between these two.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking.
It's like night and day. Unbelievable how much better these lights look now on this car with these new lenses. Like, oh, dude, I am so happy that we did this because there's no way that those old lights, you could have cleaned them up on the inside, you could have polished them on the outside, they would never look this good. Like,
no,
it's given this car like a new life, I think, from a headlight perspective. So we do have the bumper coming. It should be here later this afternoon. Norm from C17 is dropping it off, so we'll be able to complete the look. But in the meantime, let's get back to the cowl, and then we can put the wiper stuff on too. And here is our SEM trim black painted cowl. It's like 80%. We scuffed it a bit, which I think was a mistake. I think we should have just cleaned it and then painted it. That stuff is meant for plastic, and then I thought, you know, scuffing it would kind of be the right thing to do, except it's created a tiny little marks that you can see in it, which is not perfect, but still, I think it looks 100 times better. Everything is back in place. Look at that fresh cowl and those nice clean wipers. I'm really digging this. Here's the question for you guys. These are new Bosch wipers, and you can see these are like the new ones, the single piece ones, versus like the more period correct ones that are the metal ones. Should we be going with the more period correct thing? I know it's such a small little thing, but I certainly love the way these work, but I kind of feel they're a little bulky. They do sit higher than the OG ones, which are like the metal frame ones. So post in the comments, let me know about the small little, maybe irrelevant tidbit. If you guys recall, you will know that we are missing the window motor assembly for this side. I just cleaned out some glass in here, so what I suspect happened was somebody smashed the window, we bought the car, somebody took it apart, but they didn't, the previous owner took it apart, but didn't get enough time to put it all back together. However, he didn't have all the parts, so I've managed to source the regulator and motor right here, which is a big portion of what we needed. The glass did come with the vehicle. However, number 2 here, I can see we are missing these stoppers, and I didn't realize this until right now. So I've tried, I'm seeing if Toyota has these in stock. All right, I got somewhat everything bolted in place here, and miraculously, we do have ourselves a window that works. There is a stopper right here. So you can see it is at the top, but you do want those stoppers in the corners, so I'm gonna have to source those, but it's not the end of the world right now. We do have ourselves a window that works, so that is fabulous. I did want to point something out, and that is the atrocious speakers that are now left in this car. You can see they are fully junk, and what I did is I quickly went out and bought a set of these Pioneer ones and had to retrofit them in a not super great way. As you can see, this one is a 4 bolt pattern where the Supra is a 3, but I was able just to, like, as you can see, just like put a couple of screws into the existing frame of it, and it's gonna fit up just nicely, and they're gonna sound so much better than this. So this will go on in a future episode, but for now, this is it for the door. We are on to doing the rear interior, mainly the bench, the upper piece of the bench here. As you guys will recall, this car has this really bad cracking and faded area up here. I actually tried to find a replacement piece, but no one had them. The people that did wanted like $900 US, and for that price, I could get this rewrapped. So speaking of which, I think that's what we're gonna end up doing with this, because this is going to live in the red Supra, and I've got a cool idea for the interior of that car. So, but what we're gonna do is, this is out of the red Supra, and you can see this is in so much nicer and better condition. So we are gonna swap that over.
Well, it's finally time to get this old Momo race wheel out of here. As you can see, the upholstery is like badly cracked in here, and I just don't think the silver center really suits the interior of this car very well either. It's kind of an outdated wheel and style in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
it's certainly like a late 90s,
Yeah.
early 2000s look.
it's not terrible.
No.
We've certainly seen worse, but it's old and worn out, so it's time to go bye-bye. And in its place, pulled this out of the stash. This is a Momo Monte Carlo. I think this lived briefly in the 350Z,
Maybe.
and then we decided to put a deep dish wheel in it for drifting. That was on Riley's advice, because he felt like this style of wheel, which is more for racing, you can hurt your thumbs on when you're drifting and letting go of the wheel, so he's like, go to a deep dish. But I've always liked the style of the Monte Carlo. In fact, I used to have one of these in my old Canadian touring car race car, so it'll feel right at home in here to me at least, and I think it'll look really good. It's a nice, like, simple, blacked out design. There you have it. Monte Carlo is in place, and I like the size of it. The gauges fall in this opening very nicely. Sometimes when you put a smaller, like, racing style wheel into a car, the gauges are spread out more than the opening in the wheel is, but this is actually really good. So I'm super happy with this. I think it's gonna work out really well. So Interior's looking good. I did clean up in here, by the way. I gave it a wipe, I cleaned the seats, I cleaned the carpet, so it's looking and smelling pretty darn good in here.
And here we have our front bumper. What I had C17 do is wrap the front lip because I figured why not see what it looks like as a completed setup versus that. Small little thing you guys will note, it is missing the Toyota emblem. That did break when they tried to remove it, but that's okay. I got another one on order. So DP, I think we got to fit this thing up and just like check this car out.
Man, PT, what a transformation this is.
So good.
It's looking like a brand new car. Those headlights, those new turn signals just look amazing. And with the bumper finally on in blue, and I think it was a good call to wrap the lip too. It lowers the whole profile visually, which I like. I kind of miss the carbon too, but I don't know. I think maybe leaving it wrap's the way to go on that. Let us know in the comments which way you guys prefer it. And the overall effect is pretty stunning. It is looking so much better, but those black wheels, PT, the car just looks a little dark now.
It does.
Give me an idea, because we just got a shipment that came in from Koenig wheels for a different project, but they are a vibrant wheel that I think will really pop on here. So why don't we toss them on here just to take a look. And there you have Koenig countergrams in their hyper silver finish with a polished lip and an 18 by 10.5 plus 20 fitment, which might tip you off to what car these might go on. And actually, I mean, from the angle you're at right now, these fit remarkably well.
Yeah, they look really good, actually.
Truth be told, the fender is going to smash this very badly right now, but with an aggressive fender pull, like an S2000 style fender pull, these could be made to fit.
Yeah, and we're on what 275s, right?
Right, yeah, 275, 3518, Continental Extreme Contact Sport, our go-to summer tire for all of our street cars. And the fact that these do have a bit of a rounded sidewall does help visually make it look like this package fits better than it really does. But in the back, it's a lot closer. But that's,
and it's the same size in the back.
It is. It's 10.5 in the back with a 275 in the back. But overall, I mean, the visual impact is pretty tremendous. And Pete and I were just joking that this color combo looks familiar, doesn't it? For those of you who are like diehard fans of the channel, if you watched all our content, think about that $300 blue Civic that we built as a quick build and how it was on the exact same wheels in this basically exact same color. But heck, those videos got over 1 million views, PT, so maybe this color combo is like our signature look now. But I love it. Even the Dorman lug nuts with this titanium finish on it just work perfectly on the car right now. Well, there you have it, everyone. That is a wrap on today's episode. And I don't know about you, PT, but I am covered in sweat. It is a hot box in here today, and we've got a lot done. So I'm pretty pumped on how good this car is looking. It is whole again. And that means in the next episode, we can get down to business of figuring out why the transmission's acting goofy and why it was overboosting. Those are two pretty big drivability issues that we need to sort out. So stick with us, guys. We are close to getting this thing really to the point where it's a true runner and driver and ready to move on to its new owner, and we can move on to the red Supra and that GTR over there. I know you're waiting on the GTR, so am I, but man, this thing is looking really good. Let us know what you think of it. I know I'm pumped on it. It's been a lot of fun. We've learned a lot on this car already, so I hope you've been learning a little bit, or at least enjoying watching us learn, and we will see you in the next one.
When I look at it a little bit more, I don't know if you guys can see that or hear that. Like, listen closely.
Yeah, it sounds crunchy.
The welds here are actually broken. I can see when I move it back and forth,